quick glance, this Camaro ZL1 kind of just blends in with the numerous RS and SS Camaros you see on the road every day. It's not until you give it a closer look that you see just how much more serious a car the ZL1 is. The most important difference is, of course, the power plant. The supercharged 6.2-liter V8 is rated at 580 brake horsepower and will move the 4,100-pound ZL1 along at a very impressive rate. However, this ZL1 has been slightly modified. It now nearly pushes an earth-rotating 690 horsepower to the rear wheels. What's up, people? KO36 here. All right, so we're in the Camaro ZL1, and right off the bat, I gotta tell you guys, it does feel pretty special in here. You got some really nice Alcantara here on the dashboard. Feels really great on the hands. The whole layout here, I've sat in a few Camaro SS's and Camaro RS's. The layout is pretty much the same, but you can just tell that, there's a little bit more, just fine detail in here. So yeah, of course, you got the nice ZL1 wheel here with the you got a ZL1 badge right here. And the steering wheel has a really nice shape to it, flat bottom and leather all around with some red stitching. Very, very nice. Feels pretty good in the hands, and I really like the size of it. I feel like it's a good size to be, whipping around some corners in. As far as the dash, speedometer and the tach here are pretty standard Camaro stuff, it looks like. I'm not really sure, I'm not too familiar with the tachs on the SS's or not to know if it's any different, but everything looks pretty straightforward here. Nothing fancy on the straight dash board here, but it does show everything you need to know. Red line there, it looks like 6,200 RPMs. So let's turn the power on here. So there's a little bit of okay. So yeah, I do like the electronic readout of the miles per hour here, right there in the middle. That's very helpful, especially to make sure that you're going the speed limit and whatnot. But in a car that's powerful, especially useful because with so much power that it has, you can reach those unsafe and illegal speeds fairly quickly. So other than that though, I really dig the gauges down here. You got oil pressure, you got oil temperature, boost, and then you got voltage. Very useful information, just to make sure you're not getting heat soaked. Then of course the boost, everybody loves to see the boost gauge. Obviously though, an aftermarket one that maybe up here or something like that would be a little more useful than having to look down here. But overall though, really special interior. The seats feel absolutely wonderful. I'm gonna move it up here. Not too much side support, just a little bit here on the sides. You can tell that this is kind of made for like maybe a little bit bigger of a person, but not entirely bad. The seats are super comfortable. Overall, I can say right now that the visibility in here is pretty limited. The windows, the side windows, very small. Even the windshield here, very slanted and very narrow. And then of course the C-pillars here hinder a lot of view on those corners there, which could make driving this a little bit, of a chore. You kind of have to look around just to make sure you're not about to hit somebody or whatnot. But pretty awesome for a Camaro, I gotta say. This is my first time driving a ZL1. I've driven a few Camaro SS's and of course the V6 Camaros, and I gotta say, they're good cars. I really like Camaro. Even though I've had a couple Mustangs in the past, I just got the Mustang because it just fit what I was looking for more in the car at the time. But I'm a huge Camaro fan, and the ZL1 is definitely at the top of the Camaro food chain, up there with the Z28. Obviously the Z28 is more of a track car. This one is more of a big power, but it still handles pretty good. So The owner has done a few things, a few modifications to this car. It's cammed out, it's got a nice tune. I think he's got a lower pulley on the supercharger. I'm not entirely sure about all the mods, but I'm gonna have a complete mod list there in the video description if you guys wanna check it out. It is making some pretty big power. So when I drive this car, I'm not gonna go balls to the wall, but I'm gonna explore some of the power and see what this thing is all about. I'm interested to see how she handles. You know, this is a 4,100 pound car, so it is pretty heavy, but it's got some pretty big meats out back, and I think the suspension is a little bit different than it is on the Camaro SS. All right, guys, well, let's take it for a drive and see what the ZL1 is all about. All right, so we're gonna put it into sport mode. Oh my gosh. That cam is really aggressive and it just sounds really badass, guys. Alrighty, so here we go. All right, so initial impressions are pretty good. I gotta say, even with this cam, the car is really easy to drive. The clutch isn't too hard to press, and steering feel feels pretty good. Gearbox is a little tight, changing gears and stuff, but nothing too bad. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So right away there's electronic readout on the actual windshield that's showing me my speed. Super badass, guys. I think you see that in the Corvettes as well, and I didn't know that it was in the ZL1 here. It also shows you your G readout. Just cruising here, I'm averaging a 0.13 Gs. Oof. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, so 693 to the tires. That's a lot of power. You know, when you're driving a car like this, you just really have to respect that kind of power. This motor sounds wonderful. Guys, this thing is powerful. Just driving it around normally, you don't hardly have to give it any gas, and you're just moving along really nicely. Brakes feel really strong too. Oh, Jesus. Oh my gosh. Power delivery is unreal. There's just so much power available, even in the lower RPMs. This car is a beast. All right, guys, so coming up on some turns here. Let's see how she handles. Remember, this is a 4,100 pound car, so it's a lot of weight to put around, but let's see how she does. All right, so the car definitely feel the weight of the car, but she handles pretty good for such a heavy car. I gotta say, ride quality is outstanding. The suspension really soaks up the bumps really nicely. This almost rides like a luxury car, to be quite honest. Very, very comfortable. There are some slow cars in front of us. I'm going to let them kind of get some room, so I can kind of do a short pull here and see how the power is. Second gear. Oh! Oh my gosh! Woo! Oh shit! Oh! Okay, so a lot of blower whine, lost traction there, even with the traction control on, and the acceleration was just was really good, guys. Yeah. Yeah, car handles pretty good, but you can definitely feel that. You can feel the weight of the car basically as you're driving it around these corners. You can definitely feel the weight. I really like the gearbox here, guys. Shifts are really tight, really precise. I don't know if this is aftermarket or stock, but really liking this gearbox. I feel like it's gonna really serve anybody well. No misshift so far. Even when I'm, power shifting it pretty quickly here. So. Yeah, so definitely car handles good. I gotta say, handles good. It's just a little bit of body roll when you're pushing it hard, but you gotta remember this car has a lot of weight, over 4,000 pounds. So she's definitely got some weight to throw around, but overall, for the weight of this car, it handles really good, guys. Steering feels really nice, very responsive steering. You don't really feel the road as much as some other cars that I've driven. Feedback is a little numb. That exhaust note never gets old, guys. What a vicious exhaust note, man. This car really has a really intimidating presence on the road here. All right, we're gonna do a second gear pull here. Here we go, 2,000 RPMs. Woo! Okay, so we got sideways there. Definitely a lot of power, guys. That's with traction control on. Oh man, a lot of power, guys. She wanted to get away there, but woo. This thing has so much torque everywhere in the power band. Brake feels really good. These brakes really bite hard. So guys, one of the things that impresses me most about this car is just the overall drivability of it. It's really hard to get such a high horsepower car like this and not have it be kind of hard to drive, like especially low speeds. I've driven some high horsepower cars where like if you're doing like first, second gear and a low speed, the clutch is just so like jumpy, and this thing is it's a joy. It's so easy to drive. You can drive this thing in traffic and be perfectly fine. It's so temperamental, and then yet it's got so much power when you need it. This is gotta be, an ultimate street car, guys. To have close to 700 rear wheel horsepower, but yet, be so tame and calm when you need it to be, is just really something special. So it's just a raw car. Just sitting here, you just feel really special. You got all this power on tap, big supercharged V8, and you just can't help but be happy when you drive a car like this, guys. This is truly a special car, and I gotta tell you, I had a blast driving it, guys. If you guys have any questions, you know, I'm gonna have a complete mod list in the video description. If you have any questions about what kind of stuff he has on here, and you know, as always, guys, appreciate the love and support. I already passed 10,000 subscribers. Big thank you to all you guys. Hopefully have more, you know, cool videos coming up. I'm sorry I haven't had many racing videos coming up. With my schedule, it's just really hard to get the time to go and do these racing videos. I have a lot of free time on the weekends though, so that's why I'm doing these reviews lately. So hope you guys enjoy them. But as always, guys, stay cool and keep loving your cars. Holy